You ever walk into a room and just feel it? The energy shifts, the smiles are forced, the greetings are half-hearted. Maybe it's a nod, maybe it's a quick glance before they turn away like you don't even exist. And you start to wonder, did I do something wrong? But deep down, you already know the answer. You didn't do anything. It's what you represent that gets under their skin. See, people who secretly resent you will never say it outright. They won't come up to you and tell you how they feel because that would mean exposing themselves. And the truth is, they don't even hate you. They hate the way you make them feel about themselves. Your presence, your ambition, your confidence. That's what's bothering them. You've been in those situations before. Maybe it's at work, your ideas are solid, your work ethic is strong, and yet there's that one person who always seems to find a problem. Not to your face, of course. No, they keep it subtle. And they question your decisions in a way that makes others doubt you. They forget to give you credit when they should. They act like they're cool with you, but you can feel the weight of their jealousy, the bitterness in their silence. And it's not just in the workplace. Some of you deal with this in your own families. You can achieve something great, something life-changing, and the people closest to you will be the quietest. No calls, no messages, no congratulations. You start thinking, shouldn't they be happy for me? But instead, they sit back, watching, waiting, hoping you'll slip so they won't have to feel small in comparison. That's how resentment works. It doesn't show up loud and clear. It lingers in the background, hidden behind fake smiles and polite small talk. And if you're not paying attention, you might start thinking it's all in your head. But it's not. The way people treat you is the truth. The way they withhold support, the way they only speak when they have something negative to say, the way they act like your success is just luck instead of the result of your hard work. And that's all you need to know. And here's what you have to remember. It's not your job to fix it. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to prove anything. And you definitely don't have to shrink yourself just to make them comfortable. If someone can't stand to see you shine, that's their issue, not yours. Keep moving, keep growing, and let them deal with their own demons. You ever notice how some people go quiet when you start winning? Not a word, not a text, not even a simple congratulations. These are the same people who had plenty to say when you were struggling. The ones who always seem to have advice, always seem to be watching when you were down. But now that you're climbing, now that you're proving yourself, they've got nothing to say. That's not by accident. See, people who secretly resent you will never cheer for you. They might smile to your face, they might act like they're cool with you, but when it comes time to show up, they're nowhere to be found. Because deep down, they can't stand to see you succeed. It reminds them of everything they didn't do, everything they could have been, and they don't want to face that reality. So instead of clapping for you, they stay silent. Instead of encouraging you, they act like your success isn't a big deal. And instead of celebrating your growth, they try to find a way to minimize it. You see this everywhere. At work, when you put in the extra hours, deliver results, and prove your worth, but somehow your efforts go unnoticed by the very people who are supposed to acknowledge them. In friendships, when you start leveling up, focusing on yourself and setting higher standards, but suddenly your friends don't call as much, don't invite you out. Even in family, when you break generational cycles, chase your dreams and make something of yourself, but instead of pride, all you get is indifference. And that's the test. That's how you know who's really in your corner. Because support isn't about convenience. It's not about being there only when it's easy or when you're at your lowest. True support is consistent through all seasons, when you're struggling and when you're shining. And if someone can't clap for you when you're doing well, they were never truly for you to begin with. So don't take it personally. Don't waste time wondering why they aren't showing love, why they don't acknowledge your efforts, why they act like your success is invisible. Because it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the fact that your success is forcing them to look in the mirror, and they don't like what they see. But that's their battle, not yours. Keep moving forward. You ever have someone act like they're on your side, but every time you take a step forward, they've got something slick to say? Every time you try to grow, they're the first ones with a little joke, a little doubt, a little negativity. They won't come right out and tell you they don't want to see you win, but they'll make sure you feel it. That's the thing about people who resent you. They don't attack you head on. No, they work in the shadows. They disguise their envy as just joking. Their doubt as just looking out for you. But if you pay attention, you'll see what's really going on. They downplay your success. They tell you not to get too ahead of yourself. They remind you of every mistake you've ever made just to keep you second-guessing yourself. That's not love. That's not friendship. That's someone who's uncomfortable with where you're headed. And it has nothing to do with whether you deserve it or not. It's about how your success makes them feel. Because when you elevate, when you start pushing yourself past limits, it forces them to look at their own lives. It reminds them of what they haven't done, the chances they didn't take, the potential they never stepped into. And instead of dealing with that, instead of asking themselves, why am I not growing? What's stopping me? It's easier to tear you down. It's easier to plant seeds of doubt in your mind so you never get too far ahead of them. That's why you have to be careful about the people you let speak into your life. Just because someone's been around for a long time doesn't mean they want the best for you. Just because they smile in your face doesn't mean they're clapping behind your back. And if every time you try to grow, they've got something negative to say, it's time to step back and ask yourself, is this person really for me? You've got too much to do, too much to build, too much to become, to waste time worrying about how your progress makes other people feel. You weren't put here to make others comfortable. You weren't given this vision, this purpose, just to stay small for someone else's sake. So let them talk, let them doubt, let them throw their little jabs. It's got nothing to do with you. Keep your head up, stay locked in, and keep moving forward. You ever notice how some people only show up when they need something? When they want a favor? When they're looking for support? When they need encouragement? They know exactly where to find you. They remember your number then. They know how to call, how to text, how to show up like everything's all good. But when you need something, when you're going through something, suddenly they're too busy. Suddenly they're hard to reach. Suddenly they don't have the time. That's not friendship. That's not love. That's convenience. And if you don't pay attention, you'll find yourself surrounded by people who only know how to take. People who don't pour into you, don't uplift you, don't support you unless there's something in it for them. And the moment you stop giving, the moment you stop being available on their terms, you'll see their true colors. They'll say you've changed. They'll act like you're the problem. But the truth is, they never valued you. They just valued what they could get from you. And that's a hard pill to swallow, because we want to believe that people care about us the way we care about them. We want to believe that if we show up for people, they'll show up for us. But that's not always the case. Some people are only around because it benefits them. Some people only clap for you when it's convenient. Some people will stick close just to make sure you don't go too far. That's why you have to stop begging people to be in your life. Stop chasing friendships. Stop forcing relationships. Stop trying to hold on to people who wouldn't hold on to you if the roles were reversed. Because the right people, the real ones, they won't need a reason to show up. They won't disappear when you're struggling. They won't be inconsistent with their support. And when you start recognizing the difference, when you stop making excuses for the ones who drain you, stop allowing one-sided relationships, stop giving more than you're receiving, you'll free yourself. You'll make room for people who genuinely want to see you win. People who don't just show up when it's convenient, but are there through all seasons. Because those are the ones who deserve to go with you to the next level. There comes a time when you have to stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying your dreams. Stop watering down your vision just to make other people comfortable. Because the truth is, not everyone is going to understand where you're going. Not everyone is going to see what you see. And that's okay. They're not supposed to. See, when you have something inside you, when you have a calling, a purpose, a fire that won't let you rest, you can't expect people who don't have that same fire to get it. You can't expect people who are content with average to support you when you're reaching for something greater. They'll tell you you're doing too much. They'll say you're dreaming too big. They'll make you feel like you're crazy for believing in yourself. But that's not about you. That's about them. That's about their fears, their insecurities, their limitations. that they're trying to put on you. And if you're not careful, you'll start believing them. You'll start doubting yourself. You'll start thinking, maybe they're right, maybe you are aiming too high, maybe you should just settle, just play it safe, just do what's comfortable. But deep down, you know better. Deep down, you know you weren't put here to stay in the same place. You know you have more to give, more to build, more to become. So why waste time trying to convince people who will never see it? Why spend energy explaining your moves to people who aren't even moving themselves? Let them doubt you, let them question you, let them sit on the sidelines while you work. Because one day, when it all comes together, when they see what you've built, what you've accomplished, what you refuse to quit on, they won't need an explanation. It'll be right there in front of them. And by then, their opinions won't matter. Their doubts won't matter. Because you'll be too busy walking in your purpose, too busy doing what you knew you could do all along. And the best part, you'll have done it without their approval. You'll have proved to yourself that you never needed it in the first place. You can't wait for the perfect moment. You can't sit around hoping everything lines up just right before you take action, because life doesn't work that way. The people who make it, the ones who succeed, the ones who reach their goals, they don't wait. They move. They take steps even when they're scared, even when they're uncertain, even when they don't have all the answers. Too many people talk themselves out of their own blessings. They tell themselves they're not ready, that they need more time, that they need more resources, more support, more confidence before they begin. But here's the truth. You're never going to feel fully ready. You're never going to have everything figured out from the start. You have to start anyway. You have to push through the doubt, through the fear, through the hesitation, because if you don't, you'll wake up years from now in the same place wondering why nothing changed. You see, there's a reason so many people stay stuck. It's not because they don't have talent. It's not because they don't have potential. It's because they refuse to take that first step. They refuse to bet on themselves. And so they stay comfortable. They stay in the same routine. They keep waiting for a sign, waiting for permission, waiting for the right time that never comes. But those who succeed, they move. They take action. They don't let fear control them. They don't let other people's opinions dictate their decisions. They don't let setbacks make them quit. And that's the difference. It's not about luck. It's not about having the perfect plan. It's about having the discipline to keep going even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, even when they don't feel like it. Because here's the thing. Everybody wants success, but not everybody is willing to work for it. Not everybody is willing to show up day after day and put in the effort. But that's what separates the ones who talk about it from the ones who achieve it. The ones who push through the discomfort, push through the rejection, push through the failures, those are the ones who win. So stop waiting. Stop making excuses. Stop telling yourself you'll do it tomorrow, next week, next year. Start now. Start where you are with what you have, and trust that every step forward, no matter how small, is taking you closer to where you're meant to be. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing. Are you willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to push past the fear, the doubt, the setbacks, and keep moving forward? Because success doesn't come to those who wait. It doesn't come to those who hesitate. It comes to those who work, who grind, who refuse to quit when things get tough. You have to understand that nothing worth having comes easy. If it did, everybody would have it, but the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. The ones who make it are the ones who keep going. They don't stop when they get tired. They don't stop when things don't go their way. They don't stop when people doubt them, reject them, or try to tear them down. They use that as fuel. They use it as motivation to go harder, to prove to themselves that they can and will make it. But the question is, do you want it bad enough? Do you want it enough to sacrifice, to be uncomfortable, to take risks, to step out in faith, to do things that scare you? Because that's what it takes. If you want to reach the top, you can't afford to be like everyone else. You can't afford to be lazy, to wait for the right time, to let fear stop you. You have to move now. You have to make the decision that no matter what comes your way, you're going to push through. And when the obstacles come, and they will, you have to remind yourself why you started. You have to remind yourself that the pain, the struggle, the late nights, the early mornings, the disappointments, the failures, it's all part of the process. It's all leading you to where you're supposed to be. So don't stop. Don't give in. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Show up for yourself every single day. Put in the work. Stay consistent. Because if you do that, if you stay focused, if you refuse to quit, success will find you. And when it does, you'll look back and realize that every sacrifice, every struggle, every hard moment, it was all worth it.